What do you do for a living?
Whatever I want.
I work in fashion.
I'm a DJ.
How much do you make a year?
Around 80.
150,000.
200,000.
What would you say is the best thing about your apartment or area?
Very positive energy.
My best part would be my roommate, Brad. I love you.
Today we're in New York City and we're going to be guessing what New Yorkers pay for rent. Can you share your name, your age, and where you're from?
My name's Ho Yin. I am 25, and I'm from Hong Kong originally.
What do you do for a living currently?
I work in tech.
What area do you live in?
I live in the East Village.
What would you say is the best thing about your apartment or area?
My best part would be my roommate, Brad. I love you.
So, now what would you say would be the worst thing about either your area or your apartment?
Can I also say Brad again?
Yes, you can. You absolutely can. What would you say is the most expensive thing in your house?
Probably the TV.
Why did you come to New York to begin with?
I came here for school and then stuck around and trying to stick around ever since.
How much do you make a year?
Like 110.
I want to guess and say that you pay about $2,900 a month for rent.
29?
Yeah.
29 was under.
Oh, $2,900 was on. Oh, wow. $3,900?
About 39.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's a lot of money. Can you share your name, your age, and where you're from?
I'm Alex Herpin. I am 33 years old and I'm from Louisiana.
What do you do for a living?
I work in fashion.
Fashion. Awesome.
Yeah.
What area do you live in?
I live in Nolita.
What would you say is your favorite thing about where you live, or about the area where you live?
It's always very lively. It's near here and there's always a place to eat, something to do, always people, very positive energy.
What did you say would be the worst thing about where you live or the area?
How expensive it is
Absolutely. Why did you come to New York to begin with?
for my career
Okay. Just to be around the
Yeah.
fashion industry?
to work here.
What would you say you make around a year?
I'm like 80.
I want to guess and say that you pay about $2,900 a month for rent.
No, a lot less than you're
Oh,
thinking,
okay.
but like in that, I don't know.
In range?
Yeah,
Okay, 2,200?
about.
About?
Around,
Awesome.
yeah.
Could you share your name, your age, and where you're from?
I'm cool. I'm old.
What do you do for a living?
Whatever I want.
What would you say is your favorite thing about where you live currently?
Probably the area, because I lived around there for so long.
What would you say is the worst thing if you really just had to pick one thing?
The neighbors, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What would you say is the most expensive thing in your house?
I do everything on Discount King
Yeah.
all day.
Okay.
Mhm.
Same here. Same here. How much would you say ballpark you make a year?
Somewhere around like 150,000.
What area do you live in?
I live in Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy? Okay. I want to guess that you pay about $2,200 a month for rent.
Man, close.
Yeah?
Yeah. 36.
36? 3,600? Okay, awesome. Can you say your name, your age, and where you're from?
Eric, born in Albania, raised in Italy, 33 years old.
Daniele, I was born in Rome, Italy.
What do you guys do for a living?
Bartenders both.
What's your favorite thing about where you live currently?
Diversity.
This city is like a melting pot, so it's like the center of the world. After COVID, New York City changed a lot, unfortunately, but still is still the great city in the world.
What do you hate about where you live?
The smell.
And the dirtiness, the garbage, the dirty. New York City is dirty.
And the expenses.
And the rent.
How much would you say you make a year?
60, 70.
Yeah, 80 mostly.
What area do you live in?
Lower Manhattan.
East Village.
I want to say $2,700 a month.
Lower.
Lower?
Yeah.
2,200. 2,200?
Yeah.
Awesome. And you, I want to say 2,400.
27.
2,700. Awesome. Could you share your name, your age, and where you're from?
My name's Alex. I'm 33. I'm from London, but I live in Brooklyn.
How long have you lived in Brooklyn?
10 years.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an architect.
Architect. Awesome. So you help build the city.
Yeah, pretty much.
What is the favorite thing about your apartment, if you had to pick one thing?
My stoop is probably the best bit.
What would you say is the worst thing?
It's pretty small.
What would you say is the reason why you came to New York City?
I came out here to study, to finish my studies in architecture, and then I just stayed
Where do you live in Brooklyn?
in Bed-Stuy,
Bed-Stuy. Okay. How much do you make a year?
around 80.
Do you live alone or you have roommates?
I got a roommate.
I'm gonna guess the overall rent.
Uh-huh.
So combined. I want to say $1,600 a month
For both of us,
for both of you.
we both, between us, paid 22.
Oh, awesome. Could you share your name, your age, and where you're from?
My name is Ricky. I'm 52 and I'm from Queens, New York.
How long have you lived in New York City?
31 years.
What do you do for a living?
I work in IT.
What would you say is the best thing about your apartment slash house that you really like, or area?
I have yard space and I have a garage.
And what do you hate about it or not like about it?
The neighborhood is actually very congested.
What do you say is the most expensive thing in your house?
The most expensive item in my house would probably be my daughter.
Daughter, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Probably in my house, in terms of a household item,
Yeah.
TV.
And what area do you live in?
I live in Jamaica, Queens.
How much do you make per year?
I make enough.
Is it a mortgage or is it a rent?
I have a mortgage.
Mortgage, okay. I'm gonna estimate that you pay $2,300 a month in mortgage.
I pay more.
$2,800?
Around there.
Around there? Awesome. Could you share your name, your age, and where you're from?
Hey, I'm Alex. I'm from Paris, but I live in New York, and I'm 33.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a DJ.
DJ. Awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say is the worst thing about the area or your apartment?
There is no worst thing, man. We're in downtown. It's like the best place in New York.
What would you say is the most expensive thing in your house?
My clothes,
Clothes?
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
What brought you to New York?
Being a DJ,
How much would you say you make a year?
200,000.
Well, let me try to guess how much rent you pay. I want to say $3,100 a month. Upper? $3,600?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. $3,600 a month. Wow. What's your favorite thing about this neighborhood or where you live?
This neighborhood specifically is great because it's the intersection of Little Italy, Nolita, Chinatown, Soho, NoHo, East Village, Lower East Side. In 10 minutes, you can walk to all those neighborhoods. So you don't even need public transportation. You just need 2 good feet.
What would you say would be the worst thing about where you live currently or the neighborhood?
Well, that would be, of all the major cities of the world, New York actually has a very good cost of living, except for the rent. The rent is the one factor in the cost of living that drives the costs sky high. In other major cities of the world, London, Paris, Tokyo, Moscow, you name them, the rents are somewhat reasonable, but the other costs of living are very high. Here, you can get a monthly Metro card for what, $125, and you can use it 3,000 times a month. But your rent is going to nail you. So I'll give you an example. So I live in a walk-up tenement building that was constructed in 1888. I've been in that apartment for more than 25 years. I won't tell you what my rent is, but it's rent stabilized.
Ooh.
And it's almost unheard of finding a rent like this. I have 2 neighbors in my building that were born in the apartments they live in. So they were born before 1974. So their rents are frozen at those rates.
Wow.
So they pay $120 a month
Oh my gosh.
for a large 1-bedroom and $160 a month for a 2-bedroom.
Wow.
You can't find those apartments. You can't find my apartment in New York anymore. To answer your question, it's the rent.
Yeah. You're never leaving.
I will never leave my apartment as long as I stay in New York.
Wow. I don't think he's leaving New York anytime soon. And what do you do for a living?
I'm in the real estate industry, so I'm very aware of the rents. In fact, most of my clients are corporate relocation people from high-tech firms, banking, manufacturing, advertising. So every month I get people from all over the world who move to New York, and I have to find them an apartment. And unless they're well-to-do executives, it's hard. Let's say someone's moving here from Berlin or London or Tokyo or Brazil. They want a nice 1-bedroom. They want a renovated interior. It doesn't matter if the building is old. It doesn't matter if it's a walk-up, but they want a new renovation with a washer and dryer and a dishwasher and climate control system. They're going to pay a minimum of $3,000 a month. They would have to go uptown or to Harlem or to Astoria, Queens or to Bushwick, Brooklyn. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. What would you say really affects the rent?
The 3 words of real estate are location, location, location. Pertains more here than anything else because you want to be in a desirable neighborhood, number 1. You want to be near public transport, number 2. You want to be with a social scene where there are cafes and bars and restaurants. That, in other words, you don't have to walk 30 minutes to get to some social activity. And now increasingly safety is becoming a factor. So I grew up here. I grew up in the 60s and 70s. And in the mid-70s is when New York really went down. It was almost bankrupt. There was a lot of street crime. In fact, if you look at some of these walk-up buildings, you'll see bars on the windows. That's from the 70s.
Wow.
That's when there were break-ins everywhere. You won't see them here, but if you go to the side streets, you'll see it.
I think most people understand like rate stabilized.
Well, rent control would be frozen.
Yeah, frozen since
So
the 70s,
1974.
yeah.
Rent stabilized means that the increase is determined by the city, not by the landlord. and it's usually anywhere from 0 to 2% a year. But lately, it's only been 1% increase. When did my lease start? 1994, I think. It started at $600 a month.
Awesome. Woo! You guys living the dream. Well, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Could you share your name, your age, and where you're from?
My name's Lou. I'm from New York City.
What area do you live in?
Upper East Side.
What would you say is the favorite thing about where you live, your particular apartment, or even the area you live in?
The area is family friendly.
Now, if you really had to pick something you really don't like, what would you say it would have to be? If you really had to think hard and really pick something.
I'd rather look at the positive aspects of the city. You know, there are a lot of people who spend their life grousing and complaining. Why not, instead of the darkness, light a match.
Awesome.
Light a candle. Be a light in your community.
What do you do for a living?
Sound engineer.
Sound engineer. Ballpark, what would you say you make a year?
Undisclosed.
Undisclosed. All right, so I'm going to try to guess how much you pay for rent.
Well, that could take you a while.
Let me know in the comments section if you thought that these rents were outrageous. Feel free to smash that like button if you like the video. Subscribe for future videos just like this. Check out this video where we ask random New Yorkers how much money they make.
Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me at Herald Square. Or West Houston and Broadway.
Shout out to Sean Rizwan. This video was a remake of his video, Guessing Rent in New York City. I'll link to it in the description section below.